obviously the most important thing you can do is come on the Middle Grade Ninja podcast and then go on to tremendous success. Most important bit of publicity. But
Exactly.
how do I market my own book? Where would an author start?
I would definitely say start on social media. Find the outlet that works for you. So I am on Instagram, which is huge for me. If you're a young adult or middle grade author, I would highly recommend getting on Instagram because that's where a lot of your readers are, it's where a lot of your fans are, and it's where young people are. Young people are not on Facebook. It's a little bit of an older social media, but I love Facebook too. I'm on Facebook. I have an author page on there. I have a personal page on there, and I do really well on Facebook and Instagram. Twitter is another big one. Definitely get on Twitter. That's, again, really great for finding the writing community. There are fans on there, but I would say it's almost better for connecting with other authors and people like that. Pinterest is okay, but not going to get a huge amount there. And there are kind of strategies for each different one. Like for me, for Instagram, I do a ton of giveaways. That's how I gain a lot of followers. But I also just do a lot of just pretty book pictures. It's called Bookstagram. It's one of the hashtags. So definitely look into using that hashtag. Search it. See what other people are doing on that hashtag. And do pretty pictures of your own book, but not just your own book. I mean, the biggest part of publicity is not just shouting like, read my book, read my book, read my book, because people are going to get bored of that. I think they say it's kind of like the 70-30 rule, where 70% of the time you're sharing other content, whether that's industry news or funny memes or whatever it is. And 30% of the time you're sharing your own content. So you're sharing like, hey, pre-order my book. Hey, look at this new book I have coming out. Hey, I'm doing a cover reveal, like things like that. So they say that you kind of like should do that kind of, weighing of how much you should do for each one. But granted, you also have to keep in mind that it often takes people, I think they say 7 to 8 times to see your book cover before they will stop and really take notice and be like, okay, wow, hey, I've actually been seeing this a lot. And seeing something 7 times is hard unless you're really getting people to share it. So like I have a street team who helps share things. I did a huge pre-order campaign and asked everyone to share pictures of the prizes they got. I'm giving away like an enamel pin and a signed book plate and a creature guide, so you can learn all about like the assassin wasps and the grieving spiders and the scorpions and the snakes and all that good stuff. So I'm doing that as well. So like there's this kind of that aspect of it too. So pre-order campaign can be another great way to get publicity, because it can be expensive because I'm financing mine myself, but it's a great way to get your name out there, to get people to share pictures of that signed book plate and the book cover with their new enamel pen that they just got. I'm kind of like babbling this one because there's so many things you can do for publicity. I mean, you can do giveaways on Facebook, you can do giveaways on Twitter and Instagram. You can do kind of a book swap with other people where you do like a group giveaway. I just did this and had really good success with it, where 6 authors got together and we all posted on the same day of a giveaway, and we said you have to follow each of these other 5, 6 authors, however many there were, and comment and tag one person to be entered, and make sure you follow all of us. So as soon as people would follow all of us, I probably got 200-300 followers easily in a couple of days, just from that one giveaway of teaming up with a couple other authors and giving away 6 books total. So for me, giveaways are huge. Like that's one of my favorite things to do, to really get out there. You can have something where like maybe people on Twitter have to retweet something to be entered to win. So then you're getting tons and tons of retweets. But you also, there's so many things to think about with publicity, because again, if you're on Instagram, I typically wait to post until about 8 or 9 p.m. because that's when I get the most traffic. Because if you think about it, if my audience is young adults, a lot of them are in school until 3, 4, maybe they've got homework and things like that. They gotta have dinner. So I try to like really think about when I'm posting. Whereas on Twitter, and Facebook, it tends to be a little bit of an older crowd who might be taking a break at work or who might be retired. So maybe 9 a.m. is a good time to post, or 5 p.m. But think about where you're located in the country as well. what time zone you're in, because maybe noon is a good time to post, because if you're in the Eastern time zone, because you're getting all of the people who live on like the East Coast at noon on their lunch break, and then you're getting all the other people maybe in California at 9 a.m. who are on their way to work, commuting, or something like that. So really think about, timing and which outlet works for you. Are you a Facebook person? Are you a blogger? Maybe a blog is the way to go, but definitely just make sure that you're finding one that you can be consistent at. So are you updating your Facebook, if you have an author page every single day? Are you, posting an Instagram picture every day? What are you doing to get yourself out there? Sorry, that was a really long-winded answer. There's so much you can do for publishing. That's why I teach an entire class on it.
No, I'll just sit back and let you take over for the rest of the podcast. This is great information.
So come, I'll try to offer my class again. You can all come and learn about, like there's so many different things that, like, there's this this website called Haro, Haro. It stands for Help a Reporter Out. And it's something it's free to sign up for with your email. You'll get, I think it's 3 emails a day. Make sure they don't go to your junk folder. And it's literally just people, reporters, and people who are looking for sources. It can be someone who's looking for a doctor who's a specialist in one like rare genome thing, or it can be someone who's looking for, people who work out every day. Like, what's your best workout strategy? Like it runs the gamut of just like everything. And you really do have to comb through it. It can take time, but every once in a while there'll be like a book related thing, or like one time it was like a travel thing, and I was like, I'm a travel person, like I'll answer that one. And so like that can be a way to get your name out there and kind of get some bylines and things like that. So definitely check that out. Again, it's free to sign up for Help a Reporter Out.
So you can reach out and say, I work out in the following ways. By the way, I'm Annie Sullivan, author of Tiger Queen. Here's a link to everything.
Yes, exactly. I am a runner. I do some running, so I'll have to be like, oh yeah, I run. You can't if you're just listening right now. I'm mimicking running, which is really great, really cool. But yeah, I run and I think of ideas and all that good stuff. So running helps with ideas.
And with a giveaway, this is a question I always wonder, because I'm forever have my half cynical hat on. If you've got a prize that's available and you suddenly gain 300 followers, are those going to be quality followers that are then continue to be interested as you're promoting new books and things, or do they kind of fall off after the prize is over?
I've actually had really good success with them being quality followers, and I think that's because when you're giving away books and things like that, I often ask people to tag up to 3 people, depending on how big the prize is. So it might be 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. And the people they tend to tag tend to be interested in book things. Otherwise, they wouldn't tag them. And so then those people might often come and say like, oh, this looks really cool, I want that. And then they'll follow as well. And so that's how you're gaining your new followers. I think that is a pretty good strategy, because those people tend to be related to books. But yeah, you never want to buy followers, because if you're just inflating your numbers, it's not going to help you at all. You're really not getting quality followers, and maybe you'll get a whole bunch of fake likes, but it's not helping you, and you've wasted your money. So really think about that. And I have been running a lot of ads as well for Tiger Queen on Instagram and Facebook, and I've seen some good success from that too. And again, like I said, it's all about seeing that book 7 to 8 times before you really take notice of it. So that's kind of like you're paying a little bit of money to kind of play the odds and say, hey, I hope this person sees this book again and again, and will eventually think, okay, everyone's talking about this book, I need to know what's up with it, and they'll hopefully go and check it out on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or their local independent bookstore or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of how I do it.
What's the Facebook and Instagram, you said, are the 2 spots where you're running ads? Are there additional places, or is that your main concentration?
Those are my main concentrated ones, just because I feel like YA is a very interesting space where you kind of have a good mix of teen readers and adult readers. And a lot of the adult readers are on Facebook, and a lot of the teen readers are on Instagram. So that's why I kind of try to cover both. But with Twitter, I had run ads in the past, and I think you can have success there as well. I just haven't been focusing on Twitter as much, because I've been focusing so much more on Instagram and putting a lot more time into really upping my followers there. So yeah, for me, Instagram is the main one. But again, if you're writing adult, maybe think more about targeting Twitter, maybe even LinkedIn, depending on, what your book is about. I think it's just going to depend who your audience is and how you think it's best to reach them, when you want to reach them, and where you want to reach them. So those are the two big things to really think about: is when and where are the best times, and ways. Like, where is your audience? So definitely think about that.
And then what does a successful ad look like? I'm assuming it's not just a cover of your book. I'm sure it's incorporated, but what kind of copy are you including? What's useful?
Well, I definitely think for me, because I was running a huge pre-order campaign, I did a lot with the pre-order pictures of, like, here's a picture of the enamel pin, here's a picture of the signed book plate, kind of a mix. And there's a free tool you can use called Canva, Canva. You can go to canva.com and just start using it for free. It's a great way to kind of create your own kind of images and pictures, and kind of, it's not quite Photoshop. It's a little bit different. It's more like creating, if you wanted to put like a picture of, like, I have a poster, I'm giving away a digital poster as well. So I can have a picture of that digital poster, a picture of the enamel pen, and all that stuff kind of nicely laid out, with saying, like, pre-order prizes. So I can do that in Canva, and send that out. And that's kind of what I've been doing a lot for the ads, is kind of, hey, look at this, so that you see what you're getting. But you could do, I also boosted, I had a little book trailer made. My publisher made a book trailer, which is kind of like a short little, like, 20-second video of, like, sand in her veins, blood on her sword, a kingdom in the balance, which is our tagline, with some cool images in between. So that's definitely something that you can do as well, is make a short little video to share. My videos do really, really well online. And the one thing that I like about sharing videos is that you can track how many views you get. So with a normal, like, Instagram post or Facebook post, you don't get to see how many people have seen it. You just get to see how many people have liked it. But with a video, you can see how many views it's gotten, which is really, really helpful, I think, in seeing, like, who you're reaching and how many people you're reaching. But just remember, if you're going to upload a video to Instagram, it has to be under 1 minute long, or it won't upload. You can only go up to a minute. You can go live and go longer than that. But if you're going to upload a video, it has to be under a minute. But yeah, that's one of the best ways. And even you can take, I'm trying to think, I have an app on my phone called Werble. I think it's Werble. I think that's what it's called. And it's an app that I use to create pictures. Basically, I turn pictures into, like, GIFs or videos or GIFs, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call them GIFs because that's what I call them. Okay, people. But you can basically take a picture and turn it into a video. So, like, one thing I did is I might take a copy of the book cover with some text or, like, a quote from the book with it, and I'll animate the eyes a little bit so they kind of, like, glow. Because I don't know if anyone who's actually watching can kind of see that there are these nice green eyes on the cover of Tiger Queen that I can kind of take that Werble app and make those glow. And so even though it looks like a picture, it actually turns it into a video. So then I can again see how many people are seeing that. And so that's how I really like to do that with my pictures, is turn them into something just a little bit more, a little extra special. And then you get that added bonus of having that extra metric that you can see. So I really like that as well.
For those of you who are just listening to the podcast instead of watching us, go to middlegradeninja.com, where I'll have the cover for Tiger Queen posted. Then refresh that page 7 times. And it'll get you in the mood to head to Amazon. It'll be a big win.
Yes, it's a great plan. Everyone go and do that, please.
And I wanted to ask you, with being traditionally published, I'm assuming that you get your feedback, twice a year when you get your royalty statement. This is how many books sold. You don't have your KDP where you can go in and get your live updates for how many books are actively moving. So how are you able, beyond the video watches, how are you able to evaluate the effectiveness of your marketing campaigns?
So yeah, I mean, the good thing is that for, like, Instagram and Facebook, they do give you a lot of metrics. So they will show you, here's how many people saw your ad, here's how many people clicked on it, here's how many people, like, actively engaged or commented. So that's kind of nice. is that you do get those metrics. But other than that, like, I mean, for at least the pre-order ones, I could say, okay, I just launched this ad and I saw 10 new pre-orders come in or something along those lines. But it definitely does depend. Sometimes I think the ads are successful, sometimes they're not. And again, maybe that's the ad, maybe it's I picked the wrong audience. But the thing I do like about Facebook and Instagram is you can create your own audience if you want, which I highly recommend that you do. And so I go through and I pick, you can pick like interests, you can pick things that they might like or that they follow. But for me, I create a whole group of things like, I want someone who reads the Harry Potter books. I want someone who watches Disney movies. I want someone who, you know, likes reading or loves books. Like, you can choose those things from the drop down. So I highly recommend you think very, very hard about what your typical reader might enjoy and focusing on that. Like, maybe they do epic reads, which is a kind of a book group, or maybe they just love tigers. And so I can focus people who follow a group about tigers or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of the good thing, is you really can drive down into a market that you think is most likely to buy your books.
I'm sure all of this takes an incredible amount of time. And this is after you've been working all day doing something somewhat similar for the day job. And then you come home and you get your writing, you get your minimum of 500 words. So how much time are you setting aside for your social media stuff? And when are you doing it?
It does take quite a bit of time. And so for like Instagram, which is again where I'm focusing a lot of my content right now, is kind of on Sunday afternoons, I will go and shoot a whole bunch of Instagram pictures. I have it's a light box studio that I got off of Amazon. It's like 2 feet by 2 feet. It's kind of like a big white box that has really great lighting in it. And so I've been using that a lot to take really cool, again, Bookstagram pictures. So I might spend, 2-3 hours on a Sunday afternoon taking 7 photos, and then I've got those for the week, and I can just upload them each night between 8 and 9 p.m. when I'm getting good traffic, when people are kind of winding down for the day. So that kind of does take time. The good thing about, the whole ads that I mentioned of like, targeting, Harry Potter readers or whatever, is that if you save that, you can save that audience and name it. And so I name it my YA audience. And then you can just keep using it. So like, you don't have to continually set it up each time, but you can keep editing it and maybe say, oh, okay, well, for this ad, I don't want, Harry Potter, I want Hunger Games instead. Which, I mean, you could have both. I mean, you can make a really big list. I have like 20 to 40 things on there of like interests. But yeah, so it definitely does. It does take time. It takes money, which is often hard too. As a starving artist, you got to be like, all right, I'm going to pay, $50 to boost this for 3 days. Because that's what they call it on like Facebook and Instagram. Do you want to boost this post and get more followers and more engagement? And I'm always like, yeah, $50. And then I'm like, oh wait, I just spent like $200 in a month, because you're all of a sudden like, it wasn't that bad. But then you're like, oh dear, 200. So it can get expensive. So just make sure you kind of have a budget in mind as well. Because otherwise it gets easy, because they like to show you, like they have this little like line of like, if you do $10 a day, you get 3,500 people. But if you do $15 a day, you get 6,700 people that might see it. And so it's like really easy to keep like creeping upwards to be like, oh yeah, I want 100,000 people to see it for $100, like, or whatever it is. So just be careful there as well, that you're not, wasting your money, and kind of start small and run a few ads, see if you get any sort of engagement whatsoever, and kind of go from there.
Theoretically, 6 months later or whenever all that investment's coming back, right?
I hope so. I hope that's the goal. And I mean, I'll admit I spend a little bit more probably than most people, just because I want this. Again, I want this to be a career. And so it's more like investing in the early stages now. So people hear about A Touch of Gold and Tiger Queen and might say, oh, that sounds like a cool book. I saw an ad for that. I'm going to check that out. And then hopefully, yeah, it'll pay off later. When I don't have to do as much marketing, because people will like know who I am, and I'll be like, yes, you know me now. I don't have to spend, $200 a month on advertising or something like that.
Well, now that you've been on the Middle Grade Ninja podcast, my God, who won't know you? You'll never be able to walk down the street again without somebody accosting you. So you're Annie Sullivan, author of Tiger Queen.
I'm going to invest
I
a lot of
refreshed middlegradeninja.com 7 times, and then I bought your book, so I absolutely know who you are.
I like this plan. I'm fine with this plan. This is a good plan.